Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Alcoa, Tennessee, teaching here at Icon Sport Horses the next couple days. Today's question comes to us from Tammy, and Tammy says she's working with a pony that's about 13.3 hands, and he turns his head completely around to the rider's boot and runs in the opposite direction at the trot, but more so at the canter. This behavior's been hard to stop and can be dangerous, of course. Have you seen this before, and what do you recommend? So, Tammy, yes, I have seen this before with not just ponies, but with other larger horses as well. And you're absolutely right. It can be dangerous. So, what do I recommend? First, I want to see, when we're working with a pony like this, ponies can be a little stoic sometimes, right? So the first things that I want to check out are the health. Is there any kind of pain issue, any sort of ulcer issue that could be causing this challenge? Saddle fit, dental care. The dental care is something that I've seen as being a pretty big cause of this on occasion. Because, you know, we've got the bit in their mouth, and the response is to flee from that pressure that could be causing some discomfort or even pain there if the teeth aren't taken care of properly. So I'm going to assume that we've checked all those things out. If we haven't, definitely look into that. But we're going to continue on here assuming that we've checked the rest of those out. So many of you have heard me talk in the past about limiting how much we would disengage the hindquarters. This is a case. With one that's kind of bending around to the boot and running off. That's a case that I would be working on disengaging the hindquarters because it is such a potentially dangerous situation. Now, there are some programs out there also that will teach you, or some trainers out there that will teach you to bend a horse's neck around, flexing them left and right. This lateral flexion, bending to the boot and not moving the feet, teaching them to just stand still and do that. I would limit how much I would do with that also, because that can sometimes cause a challenge, just like what Tammy's talking about here, where the horse can bend his nose around, but we've sufficiently disconnected the face from the feet by teaching them to isolate the face from the feet in the disengage, or in the lateral flexion. So that's something we want to make sure. If it's something that we're doing already at this point, I would stop it for now, at least, until we've got something a little more established in there as far as a connection to the horse's feet. If I'm going to bend one around laterally, I want to make sure that that bend connects to their feet so that we can sufficiently move the horse, bend the horse around, and get the feet going where we want them to. In the end, it's all about controlling the feet. I think sometimes too much focus is put on controlling the head and neck without getting control of the feet. The feet are what's running off, really. So that's what we need to focus on getting control of first and foremost, okay? So another thing that I would try to probably do in that situation, again, assuming that the health is checking out, there's no pain issues, then once we've made sure at least at the walk that we can disengage the hindquarters, because Tammy's saying that it's at the trot and mostly at the canter that this is happening, I'd make sure that I was in a pretty safe arena. And when this pony wants to canter, we'd canter, right? When the pony wants to trot, we'd trot. And I would go until relaxation comes in. Now, that might be a little bit of a squirrely idea to start with, because it sounds like he's got quite a history of going wherever he wants to and rushing there. So that might mean trotting, potentially cantering for a good few minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. It's hard to tell. But I would go until relaxation starts to settle in, until you feel the tempo start to regulate, right? Tempo being the speed of the beats. So if we're going around trotting and we're trotting to beat the band, trotting about as fast and nervously as we can, I'm not going to ask anything in that moment. I'm going to wait until the trot starts to slow down a little bit and the horse starts to find a natural rhythmic tempo. I always like to say that tempo is an emotional condition of the gait. So if the horse is bolting and they're changing in their tempo, going faster, going slower, going faster, going slower, I'm going to wait until they've found a steady medium before I start asking for anything else. We've got to have relaxation first coming in there. of course, we've got to make sure that we've done our homework and checked in with this whole potential disengagement of the hindquarters in case it gets more dangerous, right? So don't just go riding off into the sunset because I told you it was a good idea, right? Let's definitely use our head and be smart, make sure we've got the control of the disengaging in there. Another thing that I want to be sure that we chat about here for a brief moment is the bit that we're using. A lot of times in a situation like this, we can kind of turn on one, pull on one until the bit does cause discomfort. Maybe the teeth check out fine. Maybe the back is fine, the saddle fits fine, chiropractic, muscle-wise, everything fits fine. But because we're scared, because we're hesitant, and let's face it, if a horse is bolting, all of us are going to get a little squirrely and a little bit worried. So if we're scared or worried in that situation, we're apt to be a little bit too abrupt with the reins. So it might be a good idea. I'll take a page from the book of time that I spent with Ray Hunt, and we might just have a halter on this pony until the relaxation sets in at those gates, and then the pony will be more likely to hear the more sophisticated conversation that we're trying to have with the bit. Okay, so the biggest part of this, really, the answer is allow forward until relaxation starts to settle in, and then try having that communication. Too often we see riders in the early part of a horse's career or pony's career trying to get, I would say, too much control, too much slow, too much bending, and they haven't become comfortable moving the feet first. They've got to be comfortable moving their feet before we're going to get consistent results trying to direct where those feet are headed. So, Tammy, I hope this is helpful for you. Please, please, please check in with me. Let me know how you're doing with this pony. Let me know if this advice has helped. And if there's anybody else out there that's having an issue like this, I hope that it's helped you as well. If it has, please maybe give us a like, a share, a comment. If you've got some friends that maybe need to hear this advice, please either tag them in the comment section below this video or share this directly with them. We'd really appreciate that. Question of the day. Let's see. Question of the day. Do you have a story kind of like Tammy's pony here where maybe you got into quite a fiasco with a horse or a pony? Sometimes those can be kind of scary. Sometimes they can turn into sort of humorous stories. In the end, if you've got one of those, share that with us in the comment section below this video. Don't forget, gang, you keep sending in your questions, and I'll keep talking about horses. Thanks so much.